Hello, family. God bless you. I pray you all are doing well. In the last video, we left off in the book of Jasher, still in the book of Jasher, at chapter 46. So I will pick up there, chapter 46, verse 1. In those days, Joseph was still confined in the prison house in the land of Egypt. At that time, the attendants of Pharaoh were standing before him, the chief of the butlers and the chief of the bakers, which belonged to the king of Egypt. That was 2. 3. And the butler took wine and placed it before the king to drink. And the baker placed bread before the king to eat. And the king drank of the wine and ate of the bread. He and his servants and ministers that ate at the king's table. 4. And while they were eating and drinking, the butler and the baker remained there. And Pharaoh's ministers found many flies in the wine, which the butler had brought, and stones of nitre were found in the baker's bread. 5. And the captain of the guard placed Joseph as an attendant on Pharaoh's officers. And Pharaoh's officers were in confinement 1 year. 6. At the end of the year, they both dreamed dreams in one night in the place of confinement where they were. And in the morning, Joseph came to them to attend on them as usual. He saw them and their countenances were dejected and sad. 7. And Joseph asked them, Why are your countenances sad? They said, We dreamed a dream, and there was no one here to interpret it. Joseph said to them, Relate, I pray you, your dream come to me, and the Most High shall give you an answer of peace as you desire. 8. The butler related his dream to Joseph and said, I saw in my dream there was a large vine before me, and on that vine I saw 3 branches. The vine speedily blossomed and reached a great height, and its clusters were ripened and became grapes. 9. And I took the grapes and pressed them in a cup and placed it in Pharaoh's hand, and he drank. And Joseph said to him, The 3 branches that were on the vine are 3 days. 10. Yet within 3 days, the king will order you to be brought out, and he will restore you to your office. You shall give the king his wine to drink as at first when you were his butler. But let me find favor in your sight, so that you shall remember me to Pharaoh when it will be well with you. Do this kindness to me and get me brought forth from this prison. For I was stolen away from the land of Canaan and was sold for a slave in this place. Also, that which was told you concerning my master's wife is false, for they placed me in this dungeon for nothing. The butler answered Joseph, saying, If the king deals well with me as at first, as you have interpreted to me, I will do all that you desire and get you brought out of this dungeon. That was 11. 12. And the baker, seeing that Joseph had accurately interpreted the butler's dream, also approached and related the whole of his dream to Joseph. He said to him, "In my dream I looked, and there were 3 white baskets on my head. I looked again, and then there were in the uppermost basket all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh. There the birds were eating them from off my head." 14. And Joseph said to him, "The 3 baskets which you saw are 3 days. Yet within 3 days, Pharaoh will take off your head and hang you on a tree. And the birds will eat your flesh from off of you, as you saw in your dream." 15. In those days, the queen was about to be delivered. And on that day, she gave birth to a son to the king of Egypt. They announced that the king had gotten his firstborn son, and all the people of Egypt together with the officers and servants of Pharaoh rejoiced greatly. 16. On the 3rd day of his birth, Pharaoh made a feast for his officers and servants, for the host of the land of Zoar and of the land of Egypt. 17. And all the people of Egypt and the servants of Pharaoh came to eat and drink with the king at the feast of his son, and to rejoice at the king's rejoicing. 18. All of the officers of the king and his servants were rejoicing at that time for 8 days at the feast. And they made merry with all sorts of musical instruments, with timbrels and with dances in the king's house for 8 days. And 19, and the butler to whom Joseph had interpreted his dream forgot Joseph and did not mention him to the king as he had promised. For this thing was from the Lord in order to punish Joseph because he had trusted in man. 20. And Joseph remained after this in the prison house 2 years, until he had completed 12 years. Chapter 47. Isaac, the son of Abraham, was still living in those days in the land of Canaan. He was very aged, 180 years old. And Esau, his son, the brother of Jacob, was in the land of Edom. He and his sons had possessions in it among the children of Seir. Verse 2. And Esau heard that his father's time was drawing near to die, and he and his sons and household came to the land of Canaan to his father's house. Jacob and his sons went forth from the place where they lived in Hebron, and they all came to their father Isaac. And they found Esau and his sons in the tent. 3. And Jacob and his sons sat before his father Isaac, and Jacob was still mourning for his son Joseph. And Isaac said to Jacob, "Bring your sons here to me, and I will bless them." And Jacob brought his 11 children before his father Isaac. That was 4. 5. And Isaac placed his hands on all the sons of Jacob, and he took hold of them and embraced them and kissed them one by one. Isaac blessed them on that day, and he said to them, "May the Most High of your fathers bless you and increase your offspring like the stars of heaven for number." That was 5. 6. Isaac also blessed the sons of Esau, saying, May the Most High cause you to be a dread and a terror to all that will behold you and to all your enemies. 7. Isaac called Jacob and his sons, and they all came and sat before Isaac. And Isaac said to Jacob, "The Lord Elohim of the whole earth said to me, unto your offspring I will give this land for an inheritance, if your children keep my statutes and walk in my ways. And I will perform to them the oath which I swore to your father Abraham." 8. Now therefore, my son, teach your children and your children's children to fear the Lord, and to go in the good way, which will please the Lord your Elohim. For if you keep the ways of the Lord and his statutes, the Lord will also keep to you his covenant with Abraham, and will do well with you and your descendants always. 9. When Isaac had finished commanding Jacob and his children, he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered to his people. 10. And Jacob and Esau fell on the face of their father Isaac, and they wept. And Isaac was 180 years old when he died in the land of Canaan in Hebron. His sons carried him to the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth for a possession of a burial place. 11. And all the kings of the land of Canaan went with Jacob and Esau to bury Isaac. And all the kings of Canaan showed Isaac great honor at his death. 12. The sons of Jacob and the sons of Esau went barefooted round about, walking and lamenting until they reached Kerith Arba. 13. And Jacob and Esau buried their father Isaac in the cave of Machpelah, which is in Kerith Arba in Hebron. They buried him with very great honor, as at the funeral of kings. 14. Jacob and his sons, and Esau and his sons, and all the kings of Canaan made a great and heavy mourning, and they buried him and mourned for him many days. At 15, at the death of Isaac, he left his cattle and his possessions and all belonging to him to his sons. And Esau said to Jacob, "Behold, I pray you, all that our father has left we will divide into 2 parts, and I will have the choice." Jacob said, "We will do so." 16. Jacob took all that Isaac had left in the land of Canaan, the cattle and the property, and he placed them in 2 parts before Esau and his sons. And he said to Esau, "Behold, all this is before you. Choose to yourself the half which you will take." 17. And Jacob said to Esau, "Hear, I pray you, what I will speak to you, saying, The Lord Elohim of heaven and earth spoke to our fathers, Abraham and Isaac, saying, Unto your descendants will I give this land for an inheritance forever. 18, and that's the land we're in, family. 18, now therefore all that our father has left is before you. And behold, all the land is before you. Choose from them what you desire. 19, if you desire the whole land, take it for you and your children forever. And I will take these riches. And if you desire the riches, take them with you. And I will take this land for me and for my children to inherit forever. 20, Nebaioth, the son of Ishmael, was then in the land with his children. And Esau went on that day and consulted with him, saying, 21, thus has Jacob spoken to me. Thus has he answered me. Now give me your advice, and we will listen. 22, and Nebaioth said, what is this that Jacob hath spoken to you? Behold, all the children of Canaan are dwelling securely in their land. And Jacob says he will inherit it with his descendants all the days. 23, now go therefore and take all your father's riches and leave Jacob your brother in the land as he has spoken. 24, and Esau rose up and returned to Jacob, and did all that Nebaioth, the son of Ishmael, had advised. And Esau took all the riches that Isaac had left, the souls, the beasts, the cattle, and the property, and all the riches. He gave nothing to his brother Jacob. And Jacob took all the land of Canaan, from the brook of Egypt to the river Euphrates. And he took it for an everlasting possession, and for his children and for his descendants after him forever. 25, Jacob also took from his brother Esau the cave of Machpelah, which is in Hebron, which Abraham had bought from Ephron for a possession of a burial place for him and his descendants forever. 26, and Jacob wrote all these things in the book of purchase, and he signed it and testified all this with 4 faithful witnesses. 27, these are the words of which Jacob wrote in the book, saying, the land of Canaan and all the cities of the Hittites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and all the 7 nations from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates. 28, and the city of Hebron, Kirith Arba, and the cave which is in it. The whole did Jacob buy from his brother Esau for value, for a possession and for an inheritance for his descendants after him forever. And that's us, family. 29, and Jacob took the book of purchase and the signature, the command and the statutes, and revealed the book. And he placed them in an earthen vessel in order that they should remain for a long time. And he delivered them into the hands of his children. 30, Esau took all that his father had left him after his death from his brother Jacob. And he took all the property, from man and beast, camel and ass, ox and lamb, silver and gold, stones and bdellium, and all the riches which had belonged to Isaac, the son of Abraham. There was nothing left which Esau did not take to himself from all that Isaac had left after his death. 31. Esau took all this, and he and his children went home to the land of Seir, the Horite, away from his brother Jacob and his children. 32. And Esau had possessions among the children of Seir. And Esau returned not to the land of Canaan from that day forward. 33. The whole land of Canaan became an inheritance to the children of Israel for an everlasting inheritance. And Esau, with all his children, inherited the mountain of Seir. And that's the end of chapter 47, family. As you can see, all the land that we are on this continent, belong to our father, Jacob. Thank you for listening, family.